Here's how to download the file from server using SSH. The first method we're having a look at is using a free SFTP client called CyberDuck. So if your SSH server supports SFTP, then this is an excellent method to get the job done. And with this method, you can actually download files from your SSH server without using commands within terminal. So this is a very easy method to get the job done in case you don't really enjoy working in the terminal and are not very familiar with it. And the second method is going to be to do everything within terminal. But let's have a look at method number 1 now, shall we? So in your terminal, we first have to find out if your SSH server supports SFTP. Because if it doesn't, you have to use method number 2 to get the job done. So in your terminal, type the following: SFTP space, then the username that you use for your SSH server. In my case, the username is Ubuntu, so I simply type that. Then you type @ and then the IP address of your server. Once you've done that, press enter to connect to your server. If it asks you for the password, like in our case here, then enter the password and hit enter. If it then says connected to, followed by the IP address of your server, and below that you see SFTP, you know that your server actually supports SFTP. And in that case, method number 1 will just work fine. If you get an error at this point, then proceed with method number 2. Now let's suppose that you were successful and your server indeed supports SFTP, then here's the next step. Go to cyberduck.io, then scroll down a bit and click on download for Mac OS or Windows. Then either choose CyberDuck for Windows if you're on a Windows machine, or choose CyberDuck for Mac OS if you are using a Mac. And download this free software. Once downloaded, open it up. In CyberDuck, then click on Open Connection. Where it says server, input the server IP. Then input your username and your password. On top, make sure to change from FTP to SFTP. And once you've done that, click on connect. You should then be connected to your server. If you need to change directory within the server, you can do that right here. Simply click on it and select the directory. Now to download any file or folder from your server, all you need to do is to right click on the file or folder you would like to download and then select download to. And then simply use the location on your computer you would like to download this file or folder to. And finally select choose. The file or folder will then download to your computer. Now let's have a look at method number 2, where we do everything within terminal to download the file from the server using SSH. First of all, it's really important to understand when you do that, you should not be connected to your SSH server. This is really important. If you are connected to the SSH server via terminal when trying this is not going to work. So when on your local machine, now to download something from an SSH server, here's the necessary command. Let me break it down for you real quick. SCP means secure copy. Then we have the username that you use on the server. Then we have @ and the hostname is actually the server itself. In many cases, it is simply the IP address of the server. Then this is followed by a colon. And then right here, you first have to insert the path to the remote file on the server. Then this is followed by a space right here. And then you add the desired path to the local file on your local machine. Let me quickly give you a complete example. First, we change the username here to the username that I have on the server, which is Ubuntu. For the hostname, I'm going to insert the IP address of the server. In some cases, this might also just be the server name instead of the IP address. So this is the IP address of the server now. So let's continue, and next we have to add the path to the remote file on the server. So I will delete that part right here. And let's say the path is /opt/subtitleserver/server.js. This corresponds to the exact path where the file is located on your server. Now all that is left for us to do is to add the path to the local file. So if you want to have this in your downloads folder on your computer, you will enter something like this here. /users, then your name /downloads. This is how the structure looks like on my Mac. If you're also working on a Mac, of course this would only work for you in case you would adjust your name. My name is Marcel easily, and this is obviously not going to work for you unless your name is exactly the same. Before you hit enter here, it's very important to understand one thing. If in this destination right here on your local machine, you already have a file that has this exact name right here, server.js, then in this case the file will be overwritten. So you have to be very careful with that. In case a file with this name doesn't exist in this location right here, then you're obviously good to go. And also if you would like to overwrite it. But in case you don't want to overwrite the file, then make sure that you're actually downloading it to a different location. With that said, we're now going to hit enter and let's see what happens. At this stage you might need to re-enter your password. So we're going to do that. And our file has now been successfully transferred, as you can see here. And that's it, guys. This is how you download a file from the server using SSH. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel for more terminal tutorials.